There we are. Alright. Let's give it a go. I probably won't be voice acting this one just purely out of not knowing what I'm doing. Oh, it's a visual novel. I have to do something like that, surely. Vision slowly returned to you, albeit very fuzzy at first. Your eyes took a second to adjust to the darkness all around. Laying on a concrete floor made your body ache, while the back of your head was throbbing. Where were you? Last thing you remember was seeing a bus stop and then darkness. You weren't even going to the bus stop, you just wanted to throw away some trash in the trash bin. It was impossible to be a good Samaritan. You shouldn't have done the right thing. You should have thrown the fast food leftovers on the ground and went home. Now you're in what looked like a basement with your limbs tied and your mouth taped shut. I like the little ribbon, given that we're literally tied up. Good people really do die young. Assess the situation. It's best to stay calm right now and figure out what happened. You shifted your shoulders and elbows to prop yourself up, but it proved to be pretty difficult with your hands behind your back. After a minute of struggle, you used all your strength in your abs to sit up properly. Being left alone in a dark, silent room gave you some space to be alone with your thoughts at the very least. There were no clues in this room as to where you were, so you focused on how you got here instead. You must have been approached from behind and hit with something that knocked you out. The bruise you felt forming on your head was physical proof of that. What else did you know for certain? Pretty much nothing. This was unfamiliar territory, and you were without any reinforcements to call for help. Creak, creak, creak. I guess if we're doing the sound effects, I don't need to do those then, yeah. The floorboards above were so loud, you could hear footsteps from all the way in the basement. Somebody was up there, undoubtedly the person responsible for taking you captive. There were a few moments of alarm that were brought to an end when the footsteps got louder. Your eyes were glued to the ceiling above as they moved to the left and forward towards the rickety old stairs. Your heart stopped at the sound of the lock clicking hit your ears. Oh my god. What an awful time to be struggling. And the scrape of old metal as the doorknob turned. The blood in your veins ran cold, and you felt as though time slowed in anticipation of what was to come. Your kidnapper was coming downstairs, and you were about to see their face for the first and possibly last time. That's what I do to the kidnapper. Oh, wait. That's interesting. I didn't realize. There we are. It's a little bit better. Hold on. I want full screen. That's better. You don't need to see those bottom options anyway. The sounds came to a halt and then... Oh, that's clever. Oh, that's funny as fuck, actually. I like that. The whole room was bathed in pink. You flinched and squinted your eyes from the drastic change in lighting. Like, it plays on your expectations and then it's pink. You expected to see a burly man dressed in all black, maybe even a scary mob boss who was about to ask your family for ransom money. What you hadn't expected was for a pair of garish yellow heels to be in front of your face. Your eyes slowly trailed upwards, past a pair of freshly waxed legs and a bright pink skirt. Before you was a young woman with a pink bow in her hair and styled blue hair. She was looking down at you as if you were a small mouse she had found scampering around in her basement, rather than a tied-up human being. As you stared at each other in silence, her expression gradually relaxed into a sickening sweet grin. Then she spoke.
Oh, you're much cuter from the front.
I guess I don't have to be voicing her then.
It's a real shame you have to die.
Do I have to, though? Like, from my perspective, this is all just kind of happening. Oh, no, I wasn't going for like a frozen type of stare. I was going to go for a glare, you know. Guess I should have figured that would be the difference.
Oh, well, that's no fun.
That's the point. Oh, wait, I should be reading those out. She knelt down in front of you and reached for you, causing you to flinch back. No amount of self-preservation could avoid her in this situation, though. Her right hand pressed against your temple to keep your head steady, while her left grabbed the edge of the tape. It was yanked off your lips in a flash, making your skin buzz and tingle with pain. Ow!
There we go. I hate talking to myself.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of that this stream. She didn't seem to care how it irritated you. Her head tilted to the side and the feeling of dread took over.
It's about high time I introduced myself, yeah? My name is Gabriella. Not that it will matter to you anyway. You won't be alive to remember it.
You're very confident about this "you're gonna kill me" thing. She then giggled and poked your nose.
And you have been a little thorn in my side as of late. Jake hasn't had any time for me since you entered the picture. I think that's pretty selfish of you.
I'm the one tied in your basement. I think we've already passed selfishness.
This is you finally reaping what you sow.
Is it though? I don't think I'm... I think we've gotten a little too hasty. Jake, really? Her mouth opened to refute, then clicked shut again. After a moment or two, she let out a chuckle.
Yeah, his name is very stereotypical. But a hot guy name is deserving of a hot guy.
I don't know about that.
So...
Her eyes were fixed on you without a hint of looking away.
now is the time for us to chat. How's that sound?
Well, given that you've said that I'm going to be murdered by you, I don't really have that much to say to you except, can you go fuck yourself? To chat?
I want you to understand exactly what it is that you did wrong.
I don't think I'm the one who's done something wrong, given that I'm not the one tying someone up in a basement.
I'm not as selfish as you are to deprive you of that. This is a chance to confess and right those many, many wrongs.
Oh, piss off. The last thing I want to do is deal with fucking religious fanatics as well as being stuck in a basement.
That's why I'm giving you this time before you meet whatever fate awaits you.
You've been telling me that my fate is the one where you murder me, so I don't know what one awaits me. I know what one I hope to make await you. What the hell are you talking about? What wrongs?
Don't play dumb. Jake's taken quite a liking to you. I know you've noticed. You're trying to spur him on and earn his affection. Earn. More like steal.
The way she said it with such clear disdain. You can almost feel the venom spat from her lips. She leaned closer to your feet, then reached for something out of your view.
This is a whole song and dance he and I do. He pretends to like other people, but always comes crawling back to me.
See, I think that kind of toxic relationship is fun and all if it's just the two of you having that kind of toxicity. Why the fuck am I here? You tried to follow her path with your eyes, leading to a box she had shoved in one corner.
Although, it's not like I give him much of a choice.
Yeah, I've noticed. From the depths of the box, she pulled out a pair of dull scissors. Oh, fuck off. Any ordinary person would have thrown these away, but you had a suspicion she wasn't ordinary by any means. Yeah, I think we're about to be cut a little. Yeah.
I think he knows how jealous I get and does it on purpose.
I don't think he knows who you are.
I don't mind though. I'll dispose of as many loose ends as I need to ensure our happily ever after.
See, that's bold, because loose ends have a way of regrowing. If you keep tugging at the same fucking jumper. You jerked your head back as the tip of the scissors were waved dangerously close to your eyes. She merely laughed at your weariness.
And your end is very loose indeed. I've seen your eyes on him.
I don't even know who he fucking is.
Those times you crossed paths at the grocery store and talked a little too long when he offered to pay for your drink at the coffee house. I watched his eyes follow you as you walked away.
I'm realizing that I'm probably playing as a girl, but I think it's much funnier if I just stay with my normal voice while she's talking about me as this some despicable girl competition. Jake's just gonna be a bisexual king, and I'm just gonna be some dude. That's how we're playing this out. I think it's funnier that way. The scissors moved lower, their dulled tip nearly at your neck.
It makes me sick. How much you affect him, and me as a result.
I think a therapist would probably do a lot for you in a way that Jake never could.
I actually haven't used these scissors before. I want to get more creative with you.
You think scissors are creative? Girly Pop Bestie, that's like day one of Guantanamo.
Sharp tools have done just fine before, but they take you vermin out too quickly. I want to see if I can savor this.
See, but if the sharp tools are going too quickly, then maybe you're just using them fucking poorly. Like, you actually gotta make sure they don't bleed out, you know? I mean, I don't want to give you tips. You're clearly an expert on this bullshit, but, if you're struggling with very specific tasks within this, maybe the problem is the method. You inhaled shakily as she lightly prodded at your skin, moving down your body with every poke of the scissors. You couldn't do anything to escape it.
Maybe I can even show you a fraction of the pain you've caused me.
Girly Pop Bestie, you've just had an emotional breakdown. And you think that's gonna compare to the fucking scissors in my eyes?
You've caused us!
No, I think it was you. He seems to be doing just fine. Her scissors moved away from you and Gabriella set them down briefly. Her eyes were finally off you, instead of looking down at the tool with a thoughtful expression.
Maybe these won't do enough damage. I quite like the tools I used last time.
Fucking indecisive bitch. Seriously? You were just hyping up how you were going to use them, and now you're swapping out and fucking blueballing me. I swear to God. I would drop, for the record, I do drop, like, swears, like, bitch around a lot, but I do not mean it misogynistically. I would say that to a guy as equally as a girl, but I feel like, yeah, I gotta be more careful with that in the future, I guess. Still. Why are you doing all of this for a man? Distract her, explain your situation, egg her on. Why are you doing all this for a man? That's right, you're about to be my yandere. Gabriella stared down at you for a moment before a new expression of confusion crossed her face.
What was that?
You heard me. You're a young woman who should know her worth. No man is worth as much effort. She seemed genuinely shocked by this turn of events. Pushing aside the fact that she was caught off guard, she rolled her eyes.
Jake is not just some man. He's my man.
He doesn't seem to know
And
that.
frankly, I don't appreciate you devaluing him like that.
Girl, men ain't shit. See? I told you. I just gotta play. This is just me.
I should have left the tape on your mouth. That's enough chit-chat, isn't it? The fun hasn't even started yet.
Gabriella stood abruptly from the ground and spun on her heels, then clicked against the concrete as she sauntered away from your floor spot. Whatever fun she was referring to was probably the opposite for you. She placed her hands behind her back and allowed her eyes to wander the room, lost in her own world.
What shall we do to start the evening? It'll have to be quick if I want plenty of time to dispose of you later, but I hate to rush things. You
Girl,
can
you're
have
so
your
boring.
cake and eat it too.
A rickety wooden floor cabinet ended up being her destination as she slowed her pace and stood in front of it. I swear I sound like I'm having a fucking stroke half of these times trying to read this shit. But it's perfectly normal words, I'm just... I don't know what's up with me at the moment. You could hear the drawer being pulled away and she rifled through it, although you couldn't see anything yourself.
You know, Jake actually hates cake. I bet you didn't. You don't know anything about him, really.
I couldn't give less of a shit about him, actually.
Not like I know him.
You watched as she threw a couple objects out of the cabinet. A couple pencils, some old business cards, and a few old tape dispensers. Oh. None of them have ended up hitting you, as they just bounced away in different directions. Her rant continued without missing a
He
beat.
likes to have sweet potato casserole for his birthday instead of cake. Isn't that strange?
To the point where I don't think that's real. Like, I feel like that's something you want him to do.
I make one for him just the way he likes, but he still wants some nobody like you.
Are you sure that that's even true?
I bet you can't even bake a sweet potato casserole.
I couldn't give two shits about one, actually. That's the whitest thing I've ever fucking heard.
He wouldn't be.
And I am white.
You could never put in the amount of effort I have.
Yeah, sure, whatever. She turned around again, leaning against the cabinet, casually with a small box in her hands. She slid it open, pulling out a singular match and twisted it between her fingers. Alright, finally something a little more interesting.
How about fire? Are you afraid of fire?
Yeah, sure. Honestly, I'm more afraid of this conversation getting boring at this rate, because all you're on about is Jake. Jake, someone I do not give a fuck about.
I could bake you into a nice little casserole and he'd be none the wiser. Would he?
Well, I mean, I probably taste a little different to sweet potato, but I feel like that's almost as slow, given that I'm Irish. Ooh. Oh, wait, hold on. The match was quickly lit as she scraped it against the box and brought a small flame to life. Wait, you can't... You exclaimed in a panic when the match was flung towards you, your whole body seemed to recoil, and you squeezed your eyes shut on instinct. There was no burning feeling. She didn't throw the lit one at you, I guess. Peeking your eyes open, again revealing the match landed a few feet from you. Okay, it sparkled on the ground before going out with a puff of thin smoke. Okay, so we haven't gotten to the beginnings yet. Which, I think you're doing a good job of the foreplay leading into this. Like, I think the build-up is a right amount to make this as painful as possible for me, so good job so far. I'll give it a 7, because your rants are dull. You just got no real interesting motivation. She was laughing at you. This girl was a real sadistic freak.
Wow, you're a real piece of work. I was joking.
You're a piece of work. Girl, drop a swear. You know, give me a proper bullying here. Piece of work? What are you, 16?
I would never do that to my dear Jake. I bet you taste disgusting anyway.
Well, I mean, if you're looking to try. Her shadow came closer until she was in front of you once again.
No. I prefer something a bit more direct.
Are we already getting... Yeah, the scissors, the pencil, second match was lit. The light brightening her features. The flame came closer to your eyes, so you shifted as far back as you could. However, there wasn't much space to escape her whims.
I like forwardness. It's what drew me into Jake.
Suddenly, she pressed the match hard into your upper arm. It seared your skin, and you let out a shriek. Her unexpected attack wasn't without her adding a little verbal salt to the wound.
Don't look so surprised.
The used match dropped from her fingers and onto the basement floor. Gabriella promptly lit another, this time using it against you much quicker. This one was pressed down on your calf. You hissed at the sensation and kicked your legs as much as possible to try and get it away from you. As the pain subsided, you took a second to catch your breath. What's wrong with you? Her brown eyes were filled with indifference as she stared down at you and hummed.
Have I told you how Jake and I met?
Your words were completely ignored.
It was back in high school. I guess you could say we were high school sweethearts.
I don't think he'd say that. She lit another match, but didn't use it immediately. She just stared into the glowing flame. Yeah, you gotta build that level of intensity of becoming, because the pain itself, while harsh, the bigger pain is the waiting for the pain. Because the pain will always come. You were too scared to utter a word while she was distracted.
I was already living alone by the time I was 15. Classes were never fun, so I skipped school a lot.
Fun.
Every day was so empty.
Damn, that's crazy. She giggled and a blush appeared on her face.
That is, until I met Jake. He was known as a player back then, so he skipped classes like the cool kid he was. He was in the park where I wanted to take pictures. I got a picture of him in the best light. It made him glow. I knew right then and there that it was love. Love at first sight finally felt real.
Notably, only love at first sight. For you! Just saying. You could almost be fooled to see nothing but a lovesick woman in front of you. The past few hours made that view of her impossible, though.
We've been together for so many years now. He tried to break up with me a few times, but I knew he was just in a bad place.
Oh, really? Crazy.
A few times I've caught him trying to cheat, too. He's a big old tease with how much he flirts around.
Probably to do with the fact that he's broken up with you, from his perspective.
It's okay, though. I deal with it.
I don't think this is how you deal with it. As if to prove a point, the match came closer to you. You flinched away faster this time, so the tip missed your shoulder. Luckily, she didn't try again and simply pulled it away.
Every time.
So you say.
Jake learned his lesson and stopped for a while. Until you entered the picture, that is.
I'm just saying, at some point, Jake, you could just take her out. Like, save yourself the effort here.
Luring him
Save
back
me the
into
effort.
his old habits. You're a bad influence on him.
Her mouth opened and she pressed the match to her tongue. You winced at the sound it made when the flame extinguished, but she didn't bat an eye. With the flame out, she threw the matchbox itself at you, bumping against your forehead. It didn't hurt, but it was enough to damage your ego. She stood up again and kicked the discarded box far away from the both of you.
Matches are too small.
Oh, really? You breathed a sigh of relief when she walked away and returned to the cabinet to continue her search. Her back was to you, and she muttered quietly to herself. Who were you like without Jake? She didn't turn around at your question, but you knew she was listening. You know, what do you like when he's not involved? I can't imagine you acting like this all the time.
I act normal. People like you just bring the worst out of me.
You sincerely doubted that, since the common denominator here seemed to be Jake. Even if he was the one bringing out the worst in her, you knew she couldn't say that out loud. Then, what is normal to you?
My normal is boring. Everything is predictable. I feel happier when he's around, that's all.
Yeah, isn't that boring though? After a moment of tense silence, her head tilted towards you. It was brief, but you could almost spot a smile on her
But
face.
if you're going to pry, I like photography.
Yeah, you did mention that.
Aside from taking pictures of Jake,
You take pictures of your victims. Again, it's so blasé.
it makes a moment live forever. And I want to see the world with him one day.
You watched her face quickly switch back to blank as she approached
I
you.
wish Jake would stop fighting fate.
I mean, maybe it is you who's doing that. In her hand was an old kitchen knife. It was covered in rust and was most likely been put down there years ago. Great, I'm gonna need a tetanus shot too. You didn't even get to die from a clean knife.
I try to move us forward, but he always brings us back 3 steps.
Maybe, girl, you're both just not headed on the same stairwell.
I thought he'd leave his playboy persona behind, but sometimes change is hard.
No, you telling me.
I need to help facilitate that change myself. You understand, right?
I mean, you could always be the change you wish to see. You know? You could fuck off. You didn't understand in the slightest. As if she wanted to understand her point of view after getting kidnapped and tortured. As if you wanted to understand her point of view.
Know that none of this is about you.
Yeah, that's actually the
Never
biggest
was.
problem.
Don't take it too personally.
You don't take getting murdered too personally. Yeah, okay.
Funny.
The knife in her hand was more than enough to quiet your attempted humor. Bitch, I would shut the fuck up because I'm that type of guy. If you're gonna kill me, I'm not gonna make this easy for you. I'm gonna make this miserable for you. She ran the blade along her palm to test its sharpness, but it drew no blood. Was that good or bad for you?
I should stick to what I know works for you. Nothing too fantastical or showy. A knife does its job, plain and simple. The clean knives upstairs have their uses, but I'd prefer to cook with them over this one. It won't be without any flair, though. Maybe the age of it will make this all more thrilling, like a fine wine.
Your breathing shortened when the cold metal touched your throat. It hadn't plunged into your skin yet, but it was only a matter of time. Gabriella seemed to enjoy the teasing, though. You might have a few minutes left to forge a path to survival.
This was inevitable. All humans die someday. Your day just so happened to be sooner than others.
The blade slid across your skin lightly. The tip of the knife made its way down your neck, then to your collarbone, then to your sternum. You tried not to move to avoid getting cut. If you made her lose control, she'd end your life in a heartbeat.
Jake certainly won't miss you. I can assure you of that. So, any last words?
She twirled the knife around absent-mindedly, allowing you one opportunity to speak. You couldn't think of any other way to dissuade her. It was a desperate attempt to make her reconsider. To your surprise, Gabriella's composure seemed to crack. Her grip on the knife had been so effortless, but now she seemed unsure. Everything that came as naturally as second nature had been put into question. She stared down at you in confusion.
Is Jake worth it?
Yeah, it sounds like he's hurting you. Maybe even on purpose. Do you really think this will make you happy? Gabriella's gaze fell to the rusted old knife in her hand as she stared down at it. Her grip loosened, then tightened again. You hadn't expected her to doubt herself after all.
Jake will make me happy. It'll all be okay after we're together. It has to be. It has to.
And if it's not? Why do you think he's... And what if Jake doesn't... But what if everything isn't okay?
Then we'll make it okay. He'll be with me, so everything will be okay. I won't have to worry about him running off, or hating me. I need him. You don't.
You're right. I don't need him. At that, Gabriella froze entirely. She took the chance to speak again, sitting up more comfortably. You took the chance to speak again, sitting up more comfortably. And you don't either. Trust me. Conflicted, Gabriella began to walk in small circles. She couldn't decide whether to grip her hair or swing the knife around from the looks of it. Ultimately, she let out an angry groan and threw the blade across the room. It scattered against the wall and fell to the ground unceremoniously.
This is stupid.
You ain't wrong.
This is all so stupid. I fucking hate this.
You watched silently as she let out her frustrations, pacing the room and letting out various groans while muttering incoherently. When she looked back at you again, she looked so distraught it threw you for a loop.
I just want him to like me. Is that really so hard? I do this all for him, and he never appreciates me. Not one thank you.
Then he ain't worth doing it for. Her legs swung around to kick the cabinet. It sounded painful, but she ignored it.
I'm just so tired of fighting. He's just out of reach. Every day pulls us further apart.
She let out a yell. She wasn't looking at you, instead staring at the ceiling to keep herself composed.
I want to be happy. I hate this.
And I want to be alive, so you can keep doing that. You know, you can be happy, right? The same brown eyes that had terrified you just moments ago, before now made you feel a sense of pity. Why were you sympathetic towards this monster of a woman? She must have been just as surprised as you from this turn of events, since she couldn't meet your gaze anymore. It was like Gabriella had been replaced with a statue, eyes trained on the ceiling in silent contemplation. Had you made the right choice by questioning her beliefs? Would you say fuck it and kill you for fun? Every second that dragged on made you more concerned for your own safety.
You're right. I can. Just not with Jake.
Her focus then returned to you, but it felt different. You felt like prey within the jaws of a predator earlier, but this felt new. Now you feel like a piece of candy on Halloween that was about to be picked from the bowl. It was a frightening change of pace.
Fate works in mysterious ways. I think he's just a means to an end. A way the world will lead to the solution. The answer to
Oh. Huh? That implication made you worry for Jake's safety, but you didn't have time to dwell on that. Gabriella's face came closer in a way that both intimidated and flustered you. The hardened edges of her features were now softened. The cutesy persona she put up was now backed up by a sweet smile and flushed cheeks. Was your heart pounding in fear or fascination?
So, tell me, what's your name, sweetie?
Oh no. Ending 4 of 4. Your dairy. Well, damn. Well, that was fun. So there's a little guide on how to get the other endings that I think I will be going through. Alright. First things first, where are you going to piss if you need to be? See, the love hearts kind of give it slightly away, but the rest of the hue seems brown enough that you wouldn't mistake it as pink. You tried your best to sit up and look around, but it proved to be pretty difficult with your hands behind your back. After a moment of struggle, you used all the strength in your abs to sit up properly. Oh! I didn't know the scroll wheel mouse could do that. Huh. Your eyes scanned around the room for any door that could lead to a bathroom, but you came up empty. There was a creaky staircase off in the corner, but you couldn't see the door upstairs from this angle. Other than that, there were a few boxes and cleaning supplies. Maybe you could use that bucket. Wow, you were so desperate you were resorting to a piss bucket. Desperate times call for desperate measures.
It's a real shame you have to die.
You thrashed your body as aggressively as possible and tried your hardest to get away. You didn't expect to get far with your limbs bound, but it was the intention that mattered. It was just to prove a point.
Oh, well, that's no fun. This is you finally reaping what you sow.
You're a fucking psycho. She giggled again, a sound that was quickly starting to grate on your
I
eardrums.
get that a lot.
How irritatingly dismissive.
So, maybe these won't do enough damage. I quite like the tools I used last time.
Look, I promise I have no interest in Jake. Gabriella let out a quick scoff.
Of course you don't. Just like everyone I've had in here who said the same thing after their mistakes caught up to them.
They're not my mistakes. No, I'm serious. He's just some random guy I've talked to a few times. I probably wouldn't even remember his name if you hadn't reminded me.
As a dirty fucking lie.
Gabriella's fist collided with the ground beside your head, trapping your words in your throat. Her hands shook with restrained anger before she moved her hand away, a bruise blossoming across her knuckles.
I won't let you have him. He's mine.
Yo, I don't fucking want him.
It's about time you understood that. That's enough chit-chat, isn't it? Matches are too small.
With her eyes off you temporarily, you took the chance life provided. Who knew how long she could be turned around, but you hoped it would be long enough to work at the knot tying your wrists. Your eyes were fixed on Gabriella for any indication that she would move, while your hands bent and twisted to get a grip of the rope. The friction against your skin irritated your wrists, but you couldn't let that sway you. Without a good view of the knot, it was tricky to even conceptualize of a way to free yourself. Slipping your hands through the rope ended up being a better solution. You grit your teeth to keep quiet as you pulled your hands away from each other, over and over again. It was just starting to loosen when you heard Gabriella click her teeth. She turned around and began to walk towards you, effectively freezing you in place. If she had been talking to you, you had no idea.
I wish Jake would stop fighting. Jake certainly won't miss you. I can assure you of that. So, any last words?
You already did some work to loosen the rope around your wrists. Now it's a matter of getting them fully off. You'll be able to do hands against each other, using the sweat on your skin to your advantage. Buying yourself a few seconds would be vital. Of course I have some last words.
Spit it out.
She was still toying with the knife, but her swing could slice you at any moment. This would have to be flawless. You pried your fingers from the first wrap of rope, speaking just loud enough to keep her attention on your face. It's just that You deliberately to look towards the stairs with a wide-eyed look of surprise. If only you were an actor, because an audience could be convinced someone just entered into the basement. Gabriella took the bait as her heart seemed to drop and her head whipped around. Now is your chance. In an instant, you slid your hands from the rope and grabbed Gabriella's wrists tightly. This snapped her back to reality, and a murderous glint appeared in her eyes.
How did you?
She couldn't think about the pain of your wrists being rubbed raw. Not if you wanted to get out of this alive. Using all your strength, you twisted the knife away from you and used your free hand to punch Gabriella square in the throat. Okay, having the image just drop is really quite funny. She let out a grunt of pain as she fell backwards onto the ground, dropping the knife. Your breath was heavy, and you were hyper-aware of your thundering heartbeat. That was it. While she was gasping for air, you had to act. Oh, well, I have no other choices then. There was no time to think. Flipping onto your stomach, you reached for the knife Gabriella had dropped. Your hand slammed down onto the handle, and you wrapped your fingers around it like your life depended on it. In this case, it did. Just as you heard Gabriella begin to regain control of her body, you jump across the floor towards her. You couldn't allow yourself to give her any leeway in this fight. You pinned her down with your body weight, but her own strength made it difficult to gain control. Her nails clawed at you, and she grit her teeth, trying to keep the knife away from you.
Damn it! I knew I was taking it too. Easy on you. I should have sawed off your limbs.
Oh, Jesus. Every movement of hers tried to flip you over, or just get you off. Well, goddamn. But you wouldn't budge. This had to end here, or she'd end you. You lifted onto your knees, trying to use your full weight to overpower her. Every muscle in your body ached, but you had to ignore it. Giving into that weakness could mean giving up. You had to hold on. You yelled to release some of the tension build up before pushing down as hard as you could. She was resisting as much as you were fighting, but you had the upper hand in this position. The knife plunged deep, it plunged lower and your body tilted along with it. That's not the heart. It's like the middle of the... Sure. The world slowed as you met her gaze. You could only imagine what her expression mirrored the terror in hers. The blade was embedded deep in her chest, and she had completely frozen. Then came the blood. It trickled from her open wound and stained her clothes. It didn't look right. It was a blackish colour with hints of red. Had an almost iridescent quality, and the smell was not natural. You lifted the knife, more of the thick, viscous liquid spilled out of her. The pure agony was clear on her face, but Gabriella was gasping for air and clutched at nothing but concrete floor. You couldn't show her any mercy, though. The blade came down again, and again. It was an awful feeling as the blade sank through her skin. You steeled yourself to remain focused. Any sign of stopping would put your survival in jeopardy. She laid beneath you, weakly, barely able to keep her eyes open. When you were certain she wouldn't be able to attack you, you leaned back on your heels. Well, ain't that something? The sight before you was vile. Well. Her chest was open enough to reveal something non-human. It wasn't human organs, but various wires and blinking lights within. Oh. Actually, I think I've seen this episode of Buffy. The blade had cut various tubes that were spilling some kind of oil. Despite that, you could swear there was still blood coming out from it. What the fuck are you? She choked on her own breath as tears fell from her eyes. The panic on her face was heartbreaking. She had lost.
I had to be with him. I couldn't. I was weak.
As you observed her, something shiny caught your attention. A key had fallen from her shirt in the midst of your attack. You bent down to grab it, ignoring the blood. As you did, her body jerked and she let out a pained wheeze. The robotic heart in her chest was blinking red. You couldn't bear to watch.
No, this can't be it.
She screamed out again. You scrambled backwards to get away from her, but tripped over your own feet. Alright, the rope. You swiftly cut yourself open and dropped the weapon. You had to get out of here. Not bothering to look back at as your kidnapper bled out, you ran to the staircase. Fucking rookie mistakes here, mate. You keep the weapon, first off. And second off, I don't know, her throat or some shit. Like, this is a robot now. You don't know what the fuck this is. You don't know if this shit's dead now. So you finished the goddamn job. Yanking on the door proved to be pointless. She had locked it. Didn't you just take the key? Shit. Wait, the key. Yes. You made a quick work of shoving it into the keyhole. The handle turned. The door swung open. You didn't stop running. Well, ain't that something? Alright. There's no 2 endings left and a fifth hidden ending. You choose to look for the bathroom at the start of the game or distract Gabrielle when you scissors. I see. I might need that one. Look for the bathroom.
It's a real shame you have to die.
Or distract Gabriella when she's using this. Cry. Oh no, the reality was settling in. Tears prickled the corners of your eyes and you felt the familiar burning sensation. Hot tears slid down your cheeks. Silently, a girl pursed her lips.
Oh, well, that's no fun.
What would have been fun for you then? Because we've gone through all 3 options and not a single one of them was fun to you.
This is you finally reaping what you sow.
She lifted her eyebrows and stared down at you. It felt judgmental.
Do you really think that'll work? I'll just let you walk out of here because you told me to?
My options aren't that great, regardless.
I thought you were smarter than that.
Again, I don't have options.
So, maybe these won't do enough damage. I quite like the tools I used last time.
Distractor. What tools did you use last time?
Oh, just some stuff laying around in here.
Gabriella stood from her kneeling position to look around the basement. It gave you a better chance to survey your surroundings.
I've used that old shovel, shears, the knives upstairs, a mallet, even a bowling ball.
It's a decent variety, I'll give it that.
That one wasn't nearly as fun, though. I had to buy a new pair of flats after that girl.
Yeah, that tracks. Bowling ball's gonna get really messy. From this vantage point, you could see it. Oh, wait. You were barely listening to her insane ramblings anymore. From this vantage point, you could see a small window that could be used as an escape. Whether or not it was big enough for a person was up for debate, though. There's also the staircase where she came from, but you had no idea what was up there waiting for you. Maybe other serial killers.
That's enough chit-chat, isn't it? Matches are too small.
So I gotta start untying. Alright, so we gotta untie.
Jake certainly won't miss you.
Try the
I
knot
can
again.
assure you of that.
Look for an escape. Although your ankles were tied together, you could still hobble your way to an exit if you moved fast enough. Sort of crawling on all fours ended up being the most plausible option available. It was a weird hop using your back legs while your arms provided the needed stability. You had to sidestep your assailant before looking for a solid way out of here. There wasn't much time until she acted though, so you needed to be quick. Out the window. You had to take the risk on the tiny window. It opened enough for a person to fit through. It was easily the fastest way out of here. Slowly but gradually, you crawled your way over to the window. Staring at it made the task seem even more intimidating. Not only did you have to crawl out of a high window, but you had to do it with your legs tied up. A small box was shoved against the wall in front of you. Maybe you could use it as a step stool? The execution could have been smoother, but you pulled the box closer to your goal. It made your destination easier to reach. Your arms helped immensely as you climbed on top of the box. It felt like clawing your way to victory. You popped the latch open that held the window shut, and used all your remaining strength to lift. The window was janky as it slid open, mostly from years without use. It had lifted about halfway when you heard a creak. Turning your head quickly, you were met with Gabriella a few steps behind you, away. In her hands was the rusty knife, and it was gripped so tightly that you could see her veins.
You're a fighter. I'll give you that much.
It was said with such condescension that you knew you were in danger. She moved closer, and you had no choice but to enter panic mode. Your hands gripped onto the windowsill for dear life, and you began to kick. The first kick knocked her back by her shoulder, which was a small relief. Using both legs meant you took longer to charge up the next kick, though, so she slashed at you at the same time your legs lifted. The blade sliced your calf, making you hiss in pain. However, it also hit the rope, which loosened the knot enough for your leg to move somewhat independently. Things were finally turning around. You aimed your next blow at her face and hoped it would stun her long enough for you to make a break for it. She stumbled backwards and clutched her nose as it began to bleed. The blood looked weird, though. It's an almost iridescent quality. You had no time to stare, though, instead of yanking the window open with all your might. Fresh air blew into the room like a lifeline. You wasted no time hoisting yourself onto the windowsill.
Fuck!
Gabriella made a lunge for you, but you were too high up for her to make a difference. You swung your legs out of reach and slipped through the window, crawling across the grass towards freedom. You were free. It was a painful journey as blood dripped behind you, but you had done it. Once you could find a phone to borrow, the police would surely come after her and hopefully send you to a hospital. Even with a few scratches, you had successfully escaped. Cheated fates. Okay, so this one... Panic. There was no way in hell you would stay calm at a time like this. You thrashed your body back and forth to try and sit up, but it proved to be difficult with your hands behind your back. After a moment of struggle, you used all the strength up in your body and your abs to sit up properly. Once you had regained the slightest semblance of control, you pushed your body back against the basement wall. Your breathing was ragged and quick, which wasn't helped by your taped mouth. Was this really when you died? You'd be tortured and killed off by a stranger who picked you up off the side of the road? Your head hurt, your wrists and ankles felt raw from rope, and your heart was hammering 1,000 miles a minute. What could you have done differently to avoid this outcome? Could you have done anything different? Gone anywhere different? Kept walking?
It's a real shame you have to die.
Stare.
This is you finally reaping what you sow.
Scream for help. You inhaled deeply to let out a loud, shrill scream. It was a desperate attempt to contact the outside world. Ow. A sharp pain overtook your senses as she kicked you in the face. Your skull bashed into the ground again, making you disoriented. Your eyes were watery as you looked back up at Gabriella's. The smile on her face was betrayed by the icy cold look in her eyes.
I really thought I had some time to chat with you first. I guess you're not one for the small talk then.
Everything was throbbing as you struggled to keep your vision focused. The clack of her heels thundered in your ears as you walked a few paces away.
It's straight to the point with you. Well, straight to the point we will go.
You could barely make out the shape of a garden shovel. Oh, that was actually really easy to get then. Fuck yeah, alright. Now that I've gotten all four. Okay, so we're gonna skip Seth's situation. Gotta wait for her.
It's a real shame you have to die.
Stare.
This is you finally reaping what you sow.
I
Maybe
like the
these won't
psychological
do
games.
enough damage. I quite like the tools I used last time.
Does Jake even like you? Gabriella's face turned towards you with a forced
Of
smile.
course he likes me. He loves me.
I don't know. If you have this much competition, it sounds like he wants someone else. Actually, it sounds like he wants anyone else.
Shut up.
Oh, that's so me as fuck, actually. If one or two interactions with me was enough for him, maybe the problem is you. Not just what he's looking for in the slightest. I always feel bad for the guy.
Stop it.
If I had a crazy psycho stalker like you, I'd try to find a way out too. No wonder he's always after other people. He's just trying to escape you.
Shut up!
Yeah, it's just gonna murder me. Yep, over your senses as you punch you across the face. Yeah, is there no time to recover as the next punch came to the other side of your head. Then the next, and the next.
Shut up, shut up, shut up!
I'm still right. Every blow sent your mind rattling and your body grew weaker. Your eyes were so watery that it obscured your vision and you could feel blood dripping from your nose. The punches kept coming endlessly. A constant onslaught of pain. Then a slow gradual fade into nothing. Dang.
It's a real shame you have to die.
That is me as fuck though. Just be like, alright. I don't know, girly pop. Sounds like you're the problem.
This is you finally reaping what you... Maybe these won't do enough damage. I quite like the tools Matches are too small.
Alright. Choose to sit silently. You had no words to say, especially not to the woman who had kidnapped you beside a bus stop. Then when she questions you, say, it wouldn't be worth it to speak. Interesting. Everything hurt and your skin was crawling with the need to get out of here. How slowly was she going to kill you? Torture seemed so extreme, and you never expected that to be how you met your end. Maybe you imagined dying peacefully in your sleep after many long years of work and building a family. Even a freak accident where you got hit by a bus would have been more merciful than this. You don't want to die here, but you're once here for naught in this scenario. Worth a naught in this scenario. She had all the cards and you simply had to play the game. A rigged game where you had no choice but to lose.
I'm getting really tired of this.
She turned and began to walk towards you, making your heart skip a beat. You had no idea what she's planning for you now.
I wish Jake would stop fighting. Jake certainly won't miss you. I can assure you of that. So, any last words?
No.
Maybe not to you, but he is to me. I'm afraid this is the end of the road for you.
The grip on her knife adjusted and the look in her eyes was chilling. You squeezed your eyes shut, feeling terrified tears threatened to spill over. The metal touched your neck again. The pain lasted only a second before nothing. What? What did I do wrong there? Play this game however you want until you reach the point where her back is turned.
It's a real shame you have to die. This is you finally reaping what you sow. Maybe these won't do enough damage. Matches are too small.
Choose to sit silently, then when she questions you. Just in case, I'm gonna...
I'm getting really tired of it. I wish Jake would stop fighting fate.
I'm trying to see if anything pops up, because I feel like I missed
I need to
time in
help
the top corner.
facilitate that change myself. Know that none of this is about you. Funny. I should stick to what I... The knife does its... The clean knives upstairs. It won't be without any flair, though. This was inevitable. All humans die someday. Jake certainly won't miss you. I can assure you of that. So, any last words?
Your voice came out weaker than intended. It was a desperate attempt to make her reconsider.
I'm afraid it's a little too late for begging.
Please. Her grip on the knife adjusted and the look in her eyes was chilling. You squeezed your eyes shut, feeling terrified tears threatened to spill over. The metal touched your neck again. The pain lasted only a second before nothing. Again, why? What am I doing wrong here?
It's a real shame you have to die. This is you finally reaping what you sow. Maybe these won't do enough damage. Matches are too small. Jake certainly won't miss you. I can assure you of that.
See, this is what I mean. Choose to sit silently, then when she
words?
questions you, say it won't be worth it to speak. You sucked in a quiet breath and yanked your hands away from each other with all the strength you could muster. Predictably nothing. You didn't have the upper body strength necessary to break rope. Looked at you with pitiful judgment.
Oh, nice try.
Her grip on the knife adjusted and the look in her eyes was chilling. The metal touched your neck again. The pain lasted only a second before nothing. Fuck's sake. Only unlock after you've completed every other possible ending. Play the game however you want until you reach the point where where her back is turned. Choose to sit silently. Then when she questions you... But I've gotten all the other endings.
It's a real shame you have to die. This is you finally reaping what you sow. Maybe these won't do enough damage. I quite like the tools I used. Matches are too small.
This is what I mean. Play the game however you want. Back when it's turned. Choose to sit silently.
Jake certainly won't miss you. I can assure you.
That's what I mean. Where is it?
So, any last words?
Oh, God. Defend yourself.
Easy on you.
Go for the
I should've
face.
sawed
You
off
jerked your arms
limbs.
side to side, trying to get her grip to loosen enough to attack. Every muscle in your body ached, but you had to ignore it. Giving into that weakness would mean giving up. You had to hold on. Your grip on the knife adjusted and you pushed down as hard as you could. She was resisting just as much as you were fighting, but you had the upper hand in this position. You were shaking as the knife plunged lower. You slashed a huge gash across her face. It slid across her forehead and drew down to her jaw. You had to avoid gagging as reality set in. Then came the blood. Spilled from her open wound onto the floor, and it wasn't right. There were parts of the blood that were blackish instead of red. It was almost iridescent quality, and the smell was not natural. Even appalled and disgusted served as the perfect distraction. She used that chance to pry the knife from your fingers and pushed you back. You let out a gasp as your back met concrete once again. The tables had turned, as Gabriella had the advantage once again. You had no time to react before the knife came towards your throat. The last thing you heard was her maniacal laughter before nothing. Alright, maybe this time. One last time.
It's a real shame you have to die.
One
This is you finally
last time.
reaping. Maybe these won't do enough damage. Matches are too small.
Sit silently.
Jake certainly won't miss you.
Fuck's sake!
I
What
can
am I
assure you of
missing?
that. So, any last words?
Alright then.
Playing. Now,
I appreciate their thoughts on the matter for this, but... Oh boy. That's a lot. Oh, god damn, now that was a lot of fun.